something kicked us off there. But yeah, we're going to continue this conversation. We've got Stanislav, who him and his awesome immigration firm are there in Miami, Florida, especially specializing on talent visas, work visas, thousands of approvals. He was just telling me how he's getting ready to go hike up in Nepal and to Everest Base Camp, which I'm jealous of. And I'm Rob here in Dallas, Texas with Chai and Coaching, and we're going to have a fun conversation about talent visas. Here in Dallas, Texas. And so let's just jump in. We got a lot to cover, and we're going to do some Q&A at the end as well. But we've heard rumors, things about new visa reforms, so thousands of approvals. What's been changing? What are the updates right now?
Yes, so it's not really rumors. That's pretty much the reality. The DHS kind of made an announcement where they mentioned that they will bring the reform to EB-1A, O-1, EB-2NIW, and some work visas, immigrant work visas. And I know that produced panic on the ship because everything that has to come from the Trump administration is there's no good, automatically. So any reform, anything that's coming our way is of course perceived as a danger, something bad. And I know some clients that we are working with right now, especially from India, were very susceptible to this panic. And I already talked about this, but I'm going to keep talking about that. A lot of people in this noise of this new reform, this new program, kind of lost the track what exactly was announced, kind of thing. It's just and I understand why, because it's right now everything is crazy, and these all new news are no good news. But I think a lot of people really missed the main word that the DHS kind of emphasized in that announcement, and the main word is modernization. So what actually they're trying to do is, because all these programs were created so many years ago that many new professions and new ways of show recognition and achievement for those visas, they really not being a part of that old laws. There were no internet, there were no new professions, there was no IT basically, right? So there's a big chunk of that evidentiary base is kind of missing, and they were trying to implement those new professions, new evidence through the policy change, which is always not the best way to do it, because today policy is this and tomorrow is that, and there's no way to count on that for the future. So I think this new thing, the modernization, is gonna encode those new changes, those new policies, and make it the law. So we could put that in an equation and really rely on that when preparing those cases. And I do believe, although I agree that nothing good is coming out from the Trump administration regarding the illegal immigration and all those things, I do believe this is a good thing for us, just because we can separate good from bad and use the good things for the cases. And when we make argument in front of the immigration officers about this or that recognition or achievement, we can finally base our argument into the law. And that's what makes us strong. So I do believe that this is a good thing that's coming at us, but also at the same time, I think that we should not wait for that to happen in order to proceed with our cases.
Definitely. And friends, before we jump into some more topics, Shamayev Business Law, if after our conversation, go send them a DM, send them a message with the word talent. And they're going to actually send you a link where you can get a free profile evaluation to check your case, see what kind of eligibility you have for these talent visas we're going to be talking about. So they're going to have a little special promo that we'll again share more details later, but just want to let you guys know about that. But with these reforms that you've been mentioning, Stanislav, how are they going to be impacting the professionals? Either ones, people who are graduating on an F1 visa trying to get jobs, people wanting to come work, professionally in America from other countries. What's the impact people are looking at right now?
Give more clarity to those people. No lottery, with no education requirement, with no English requirement, and pretty easy year for us to do, and we could get the employer for that. it just was always the perfect one. Right now, it is just shining as a diamond in the sky. When this H-1B 100,000 fee, but let's say that fee is gonna go in September 2026. But the new reform that also was announced, and I
Mhm.
read all the new laws that they want to implement, and now
Mhm.
they're going to call it they want to call it selective lottery.
Okay.
I'm translating what it means. That means there's no lottery anymore. It's auction.
Mm.
It's
Mhm.
auction. So they're selecting the highest paid positions, and those people are going to be selected basically on a base of lottery. Okay,
Mhm.
so H1B is out of the picture. This program is non-existent anymore. It's dead. It's going to be for the high performers, for the executive C-level people, or like the rare professions maybe. Okay, so and that's why this new reform, this new thing, is going to give a lot of clarity to people who want to switch from OPT, STEM OPT, F1, M1, J1 visas to O1 visa, give them better understanding what actually is required from them, and give a
Mhm.
better understanding what's required for the green card, EB1A talent visa, and just encode those things that's been in the form of policy before.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of changes. Um, Again, with these recent USCIS decisions, any other trends that people need to be aware of or look out for? We've got, 10 months of the new administration again. What
Yes.
other trends are trending with USCIS that we can look forward toward, especially the rest of this year?
Yes. Not sure about the rest of the year because it's so unpredictable. Today is this, in 1 hour is that. So
Yes, yes.
very unpredictable. Probably nothing good, as we started talking about. But I think it's important to talk about what's happening today. What's the trend right now? And the trend right now is give us a lot of problems with the new filing of the cases. And
Hmm.
this trend started July, when we really see the decline in the cases that approved with the first attempt. Okay.
Okay.
And that also was kind of producing the panic on the ship, because people like, oh my God, Stanislav, we've been working on the cases for so long, putting so much energy and time. Now we're afraid that we're going to get RFE or
Hmm.
notice of intent to deny. And the trend right now is to give those NOIDs and RFEs on the cases where we satisfied 5, 6, 7 criteria, where we need only 3 by law, but kind of try to deny the cases on the subjective overall merits. Okay.
Hmm.
And when we saw the trend, it's like, oh my God, we experienced that too, because we file about 30 cases a month, right? So we have a big volume of the clients who trust us, and of course,
Hmm.
because of the high results that we're giving them, we saw the trend, and we, as a big company who are client and process oriented, we started strategizing how we're going to tackle that problem. And in the beginning of September, we created the new approach to file those cases, and we started implementing that new approach probably the last week of September for the new
Hmm.
cases that we file. And Rob, we, as of today, we got the streamline of approvals, just one after another, because that strategy
Awesome.
really worked. And I'm really excited because I think we're the first ones in the industry who started getting those approvals, because I still see other attorneys complaining on forums, on Facebook groups, and like where all the
Hmm.
attorneys belong to. I'm really excited that those clients who work with us getting that benefit, because we found the keys to that new problem. So,
Hmm.
so two things to summarize in your question. What's happening right now? Really aggressive stance of USCIS about
Hmm.
adjudicating the new petitions. It's bad. We don't like it. But the second thing is that we found the ways how to deal with that, and this is great news.
I like it. I like it. So earlier you mentioned about O1. O1 and EB1 are, very, prominent talent visas. Looking ahead, especially, as you mentioned, H1B is changing. is this still viable options? You know, O1, EB1. Maybe could you define them and talk about the reality of these for our friends today?
Yes, totally, totally. Not only they're still real, but for many, these are the only options,
Okay.
right? And why? Because the all those non-immigrant work visas, let's say L1, E2, H1B, M1, they have very high requirements for them, not only as to the employer, but to the beneficiary of those visas. Because for many, it's just unachievable to get those things done. Whereas O1 not only provides for use your own company as your employer, right? So we
Mm-hmm.
don't have to rely on someone else, but also clear and still understandable ways how to improve the case, right?
Mm-hmm.
By law, we need to get those three criteria still, never changed. And I think it's going to be like that in the future. But in reality, for O1, we need five criteria, right? And what are
Mm-hmm.
those criteria? Awards, judging the work of other professionals, press, the professional associations, contributions in the industry, critical leading roles in companies with distinguished reputation, significantly higher income, and academic articles. Okay, so those are
Mm-hmm.
8 criteria to kind of choose from, right? So we want to file 5 criteria at the very least for O1 to be a strong case. And my approval rate for O1 is 99%, right? And and if I'm taking the case, and like you said, Rob, the free evaluation is the first step to understand if we have a case and we can lead that. And you guys
Mm-hmm.
can drop a message to me, one word talent, like Rob mentioned before, and I'll give you the chance to get that free evaluation for the chances and the potential in the case. If I say yes, this is a green light, that means I'm giving you basically 99% that your case is going to be approved. Okay, so O1 is has been in my book always #1 visa for even people who were looking at E2 L1s, like business
Okay.
investment visas. I always were saying, guys, let's first consider O1 because we get the same result by much less effort and with a lot more clarity. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so O1 is gonna stay, is here to stay. There is no limit a year. Like an H1B, we have limitations up until now, and just in general, H1B is not going to be in the picture for a long time in the future. So O1 is very good. EB1A, on the other hand, is going to continue to perform as well. Yes, Trump, and I don't know why Lutnick is talking about this. He's in commerce, but whatever. This administration sometimes gives us surprises.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying like, if they're talented, show us $1 million. And you, Rob, traveled the world, and I'm sure you met like extraordinary people, really talented in those
Mm-hmm.
countries where economy is not as great, and you can be the best in the industry, but
Yeah.
it's just there's no money involved, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a different world. But these guys are so disattached from reality that they think that $1 million is no problem in any country. Well, which is not true.
Mm-hmm.
Surprise here. So and of course that affects USCIS, that affects the policymakers, those kind of announcements. But again, when they announce it, that's we're still dealing with the consequences, but then it kind of disperses and things go back to normal, which we see right now. So EB1A is going to be one of the most viable options for a number of reasons. Number one, applies to any profession. Okay, any profession, art, sports, education, science, IT, doctors, engineers, all these are going to be eligible for EB1A. Number two, again, clear and understandable tools how to improve the case. If we have in the beginning 2-3 criteria to begin with our clients, we can always build 3-4 more criteria while working on the case. And by the way, a lot of people, without actually knowing what those criteria mean, cannot really self-assess what's there for them. Because let's say like judging, when people hear judging the work of other professionals, in their mind, it's a competition where they're a judge. which is true, but there's
Hmm.
alternative way. For example, if you do the architectural review in the cross team in your company, nobody thinks that this is a judging, but this is. And nobody thinks that speaking at the conference with the paper published afterwards, it could be an award, right? Because no
Hmm.
policy, no law talks about this. So how do you know? You can not know if I say so, right? Or
Yeah.
Rob invites me to the stream and we talk about this. So guys, don't think that just by working in your profession, you don't have no criteria, no achievements, no recognition. Only a really professional can free evaluation. If you guys send me the word talent is the way to go for you.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will be surprised that they actually qualify for more than they actually do. That's why these evaluations are
Always,
really helpful. But when
always.
would you say is like the best time for people to consider applying? And what are some of those factors that can really help somebody stand out in all the competition?
Really, if there is a case, the best time to apply is yesterday. Okay, the second best is today. All right, so that's it. Especially right now, where there's some component of unknown in the future.
Hmm.
I think hands down, it's time to act. Okay, so two things that need to happen to act. Number one, we have a case that we can develop for 6 months. And number two is your desire to make America your home, okay, for
Mm.
all generations ahead. So if you guys decided that America is your country, if you love America like I do, and I suppose Rob does, of course there's problems, and like, but it's still the best country in the world. So if you have this decision in your heart and in your soul, the second thing is to understand if you have the case, and if those two things connect, that's it. You need to start. There's no logical explanation why we should wait for that.
Yeah. What's maybe some of the biggest mistakes you've seen people trying to make when trying to apply on their own?
Well, that in itself is the biggest mistake.
Yeah.
I trust me, Rob. I've seen in my career, I've seen people that got approved, and I know that they've done cases themselves. And in the past, when it was much easier to get those approvals, it would be one out of probably a few hundred cases
Hmm.
that people filed themselves. Maybe that one case just flies and gets approved, right? Right now, next to impossible. Okay,
Hmm.
so guys, don't waste your time, don't waste your energy. There's no way you can do this yourself for one simple reason, and I'm not going to talk about expertise and experience, and I'm not, this is like kind of clear. One thing people don't understand is that uh, this much in your case is actually your achievements and your recognition.
Hmm.
This much is the description of those recognitions and achievements. And without knowing how to describe properly and correctly those achievements, you will never establish the evidentiary base for the case. And in today's
Hmm.
world, immigration officers are happy to deny the case, you know. So
Yeah.
just give them a reason to do this, and they will take
Hmm.
that opportunity. So just in itself, this is a big mistake, and there's a reason behind it. Not knowing how to describe the case, basically. That's the bottom line. Another just general mistake that I see, again, kind of connected to the first one, using the paralegals or immigration consultants, people who maybe have some understanding what's going on but don't have an education or resources to do the cases. Those people maybe had some success in the past. Now it's totally out of the picture. New era,
Hmm.
new things, same thing, without understanding how to properly approach the cases. This is just impossible. And the third mistake, not while working on the cases, but just in general, is misqualifying yourself, not only
Mm.
by amount and number of criteria, but also sometimes, Rob, people misqualify the professions. right?
Hmm.
And like, I'm like, oh my God, you've been doing this for 15 years. This is not what it's called. This is what it's
Yeah.
called. And if you misqualify the profession, then nothing you can glue in the case. Everything is just across the board, and nothing connects to each other. And there must be a one theme in the case, and that
Hmm.
theme is always in the strategy that I develop in the beginning of the case, which is in writing, and which we follow throughout the case. So when the
Hmm.
officer actually reads my memorandum that I draft, he or she understands what the case is actually about.
Yeah, that's great. And so seems like, especially now, there's more of a propensity to reject for small things, all those little details matter. So strong cases versus weak case, what's probably the biggest difference there?
The number and the depth of criteria.
Okay.
That's pretty much it. And again, it's not about having those criteria, having that achievement and those recognitions. It's about actually finding them properly
Hmm.
in the beginning of the cases, and eating that elephant with a spoon for the next 6 months. So properly describing them. Even other attorneys, with all my due respect, I love my colleagues, but if you don't specialize like I do, I don't take asylum cases, I don't take family cases,
Hmm.
deportation cases. I refer them out because I don't have qualification to do that.
Yeah.
My qualification is a talent and business, right? So I get referrals from other attorneys to do that. So I think that some attorneys who could be really good at something else, picking up a case for EB1A or O1, can just miss those alternative ways to kind of approach the case, and that makes less criteria and less depth of the case. And in the new era of USCIS, where the perception of subjective overall merits of the case is pretty much number one right now, I've
Hmm.
never thought I would say this, but today's the day I'm saying this. It's crazy because I think the objective kind of analysis is more important than subjective. But here we are talking about subjective perception. So the number of criteria and how much is in each criteria is the most important thing right now. And that's what separates the weak case, although it could potentially be strong, but just was not worked out the way it was supposed to. And the strong case where we slam that 7, 8 criteria with a lot of in each criteria and giving them subjectively more things that we need to approve the overall merits and sustain a claim in the case.
Yeah, definitely. So people are thinking, okay, I need to pivot. I want to go for a talent visa, and they want to maybe start that process this year. What's that first step? And then how long is it going to take someone to prepare that strong petition with that helpful criteria? What's the first step? And then what's kind of the length of that journey to prepare?
Good. So the first step is, and you can, I can give you 5 versions of what the first step could be. I
Hmm.
think really because I kind of I like philosophy. I like depth in each conversation, and finding the layers to that. I think really the first step isn't here. Okay, the first step is it happens here when you really make that decision to associate your future with the US. Okay,
Hmm.
the second step is actually understanding what are the options are out there. And if you are a professional who has at very least 3 to 5 years of experience in certain industry, in certain field, definitely talent visas are the ones that should pop up in your mind immediately that you may utilize to get
Hmm.
that dream going. And I know you guys gonna tell me, Stanislav, I'm not talented. I've heard it a million times in my career, ultimately getting approvals for those people. But really, that assessment part is crucial. And I know that what separates there's a big wall between attorneys who can really assess those cases and the people who want to get that assessment. And that this huge wall, you got to pay money, you got to wait, the call consultation, everything. So we really remove that wall through that free evaluation process, because this is free and you get that consultation. Yes, it's in writing, it's not yet one-on-one thing, but this kind of gives you the idea which visa you qualify for, what chances you get, and what you need to do to proceed with the case. And of course, once I assessed you and told you, hey, you have that potential in the case, the next step is a complex immigration planning. It's like that's more serious step where we're already building the strategy in the case, and it's in writing, big document, usually not less than 10, 15 pages, sometimes up to 40 pages, really huge, a lot of work. And it kind of breaks down everything that you need. It gives you the grade, it gives you the chance of approval, it gives you what you've got, it gives you where we're going in 6 months, how we're gonna get there, how much it's gonna cost, and all these good things. So that's what we need to do in the beginning to start the process and to understand where we're going and what are the first steps.
Yeah. And so then someone here in the comments asks, what's the time frame to get approved? I know it's case by case, but any thoughts on that?
Absolutely. And yes, there was the second part of your question. The average case, I do not take cases that I cannot get approved within 6 months.
Okay.
Okay, so this is important to understand, and like right now, Rob, like if you were from Cambodia and like Stanislav, I'm an engineer, a solar engineer. I want to get that visa. Let's start my case, provided that you got all the prior steps. Right now, I'm picking up the cases mid-November. Why? Because I'm taking only 30 clients a month. Okay, I have a limit. Why? Because I want to keep that quality and approval rates high, right? I don't want to, and I'm not taking any case. I'm only taking cases I personally believe in. Okay, so even if you wanted to start your case right now, you're probably looking at the second, third week of November to get the team who's going to be leading your case under my control. All right. So the timing is always 6 months for us to lead the case, with very rare exceptions. It's all one case, EB1A case, EB2NW, they all go for 6 months. So cases that we're picking up right now for November, they will be filed mid-May 2026. Each visa has a different timing after the approval. Once we get you approved for O1, you're looking at 2 months to deal with the embassy. To get that visa stamped, or if you're in the US, that's the same day change of status. So once you're approved, you can start work immediately. So 6 months. 6 months in the US, 8 months outside of the US. EB1A, 1 year in the US, a year and a half from outside of the US. So this is the approximate timing for those 2 visas.
Great, that's helpful. So friends, in just a second, we're going to be doing some Q&A. So if you have a question, drop it in the question button, not the comments, and we'll pull them up on the screen. So go ahead and start dropping your questions in the Q&A tab. But Stanislav, a lot of our audience is international students. So for those people who are in the OPT, wanting to go to talent visas, or even preparing while they're still in their master's degree,
Yes.
what kind of advice would you give to them so they can be preparing versus reacting?
This is a good way to put this, because of the past changes, a lot of people reacting, and that's not good. It's just psychologically very hard and emotional. So guys, if you are on OPT, STEM OPT, if you're finishing up masters, as long as you have some experience, let's say 2 years, 3 years is ideal for me, maybe back in your country, or just naturally in OPT, STEM OPT, this is at least 3 years of experience, right? One thing, make sure we have those 6 months, guys. Okay, because I just now, Rob, right before you, the guy on STEM OPT finishing up in February. It's usually February or July, right? It's like you do usually 2 things. So it's too late. February is too late. So, and of course, I will never blame clients. I understand everybody has situation, and maybe you didn't know, maybe you learned too late. I get
Hmm.
it. But if you are informed, if you know that this takes 6 months and you wait, who is to blame, right? So
Hmm.
of course we still find the solutions, so because we don't have in our minds to blame anyone. No, we're here to help.
Yeah.
But it's going to cost, right? You have to go back to school. Basically you have to reapply for another master's, something crazy. And even bachelor is probably not going to help if you already have a master's, right? Because they
Hmm.
want something, some higher degree. That's going to cost them money. You're probably going to go for another semester while we're working on that O1 case if you came too late. If your OPT or STEM OPT finishes up this coming July, which is the case for many, right now is the sweet spot when we can deal with all the sorting out things, really strategizing, rolling out that 6 month strategy, starting in November, maybe some in December, who still thinking, filing the case in May or June 2026, getting that approval, getting that 3 years of breather to be on O1, and start preparing for EB1A or EB2NW, depending on the country of the client.
Yeah. So planning ahead is so important. I hope people can really walk away, start now, think now, plan now. So you have that time, and the more time you have, the better case you can build. So this has been
Correct.
super helpful. Stanislav, we're going to do some Q&A now from our audience.
Let's do it.
And again, after this, go to the Shamayev Business Law page. We'll have the link for that. Send them a DM with the word talent, and then you'll get an option to do a free profile evaluation where they can see, hey, how are you qualified for these talent visas? And if that's something that you can take a next step with them. So
Absolutely.
we'll have those details for you guys, but we've got some good questions here.
Hmm.
Um, First one, all right, I'm going to pull these up. So they're asking, can we transfer internally from a company which is in India to the same company which is also in the US on an H4 visa?
Was it the word? Was the word of transfer? Can we transfer internally? Okay. Um, no, H4. No, this is not H4. This is L1. This is L1 visa.
Hmm.
H4 is a derivative of H1B. If someone has H1B, you're a spouse
Yeah, that's a
or a
dependent
kid.
visa.
Yeah, H4. And if your spouse has priority date for EB2 or EB3 approved, you can get EAD, the work permit. So that's what
Hmm.
H4 is. The intra-company transfer is L1 visa, guys.
Yes.
So absolutely, we've been talking about the talent visas mostly, but we also do L1 intra-company transfers. That you must be in a managerial or executive position in that company in India, or as a functional manager, or sometimes L1B as a specialized knowledge person, like some software that's unique to the company, and they want to have you train people here in US. So different situations, but absolutely, you must have worked in that company for over a year. Outside
Hmm.
of the US, and L1A is for 7 years, initially given for 3 years with two years extensions. L1B is for 5 years, same 3 and 2 years, and both of them could be qualified for EB1C. That's the next step for the green card. Or if the company does not do EB1C, we can still do EB2, EB3 labor permit certification.
Okay.
So, but again, L1 as well, because L1 is one of the hardest visas to do. Of course, we're gonna get you approved because we didn't have denials for L1 for years because we're really good at that. But trust me, guys, you're gonna those documents they're gonna kill you.
Mm.
If we have a good profile for O1, I would choose it every day, twice on Sunday over L1 visa. The only way I would go for L1 visa if there's nothing else. Okay.
Okay. Good clarification there. All right. Um, Here's another question from Pujit. What if our current company is not willing to do H-1B on a STEM OPT, not willing to sponsor, what advice would you have for this person?
And I don't blame them. I don't blame them, and you cannot either, because no one is going to pay 100K for the new H-1Bs that are coming in. It's in March of 2026.
Hmm.
It's just the reality of that. Guys, think of it. The Trump administration, they're trying to achieve the goal of getting more Americans to be employed, but they're actually killing it. They're killing it with this reform. Why?
Yeah.
Because the whole purpose of H-1B was to get cheaper professional labor in the US economy to create more jobs for others. Hello.
Hmm.
Yes, they don't get it. They kind of shooting themselves in the leg, but we got to deal with this. So if they're not willing to do this, O1 visa, guys. O1 visa. And even if you tell me, Stanislav, they're not willing to do any visa for me, you still can get O1 visa on your own company. Okay, we can help you with opening an LLC or C corp or maybe S corp, even because you've been more than 6 months in the country, and that company could petition for you, and then it serves as an agent in the case, and you can actually work with different companies as a contractor through that company. It's just ideal and perfect solution for any situation.
Great. Some good advice there. O1 seems to be a popular alternative to a lot of these.
Absolutely.
All right, let's see if we can help Anamika here. Her question is, she's on F1 OPT and was in a paid W-2 contract role, but now her employer, which is a for-profit company, wants her to continue in an unpaid internship 20 hours a week, learning AI and adaptive interfaces. Is this allowed under OPT rules? Her DSO has approved, but she just wants to confirm if this is still a good or legal option.
I don't know. I don't know answer to this question
Hmm.
because technically OPTs and F1s is not my qualification. We're dealing with
Okay.
them on a day-to-day basis, so
Hmm.
I recommend to really consult an attorney who is in that qualification for immigration
Yeah.
work.
So
Yes.
my first advice would be talk to your DSO, which they say is approving. Um, Yeah, unpaid internship. If this is to keep your visa going, you got to do what you got to do. Obviously, you probably should be getting paid for an internship,
Mhm.
and fighting for that. I hate to see students get exploited like that, but yeah, might need to consult someone else who has specialty on this, just to make sure you're not violating your visa status. So
Correct.
that's one you always want to be careful with. But good question, and hopefully that can get sorted out. Um, all right. We've got one friend here. Their B1 visa got rejected because of international trips with their artwork. They want to visit a certain place. How long can they apply again? So with US visas, you can reapply for a visa anytime. There isn't a limit on how long, after a visa rejection. Again, if you've been rejected, it's really much harder to get approved for a visa interview. So I would recommend some sort of coaching mock interview practice to kind of figure out what happened and how to build your case and better for that. So yeah, you can reapply anytime, but make sure you've got a better plan, a new strategy. Otherwise, you're just going to get a rejection again. So
Correct. Yeah,
friends, yeah, go ahead.
that's a good answer. Yes.
Yeah. All right, friends, any other questions on talent visas here as we're wrapping up? One friend is asking, um, for IT professionals, any requirements or recommendations in terms of certifications, qualifications that help with talent visas?
Not really, not really. All the certifications and qualifications, and that's the beauty of O1 because no requirements for education, no requirements for a particular profession, no requirements for certifications and all these things, and an English knowledge level, and it's just you cannot beat that. You cannot beat that. It's the best you can get. Of course, if we have the certifications and education and all this, of course, we're using it in a subjective overall merit criterion,
Hmm.
because it's just that's what it's there for. Give us more than you put in the criteria, which satisfies the criteria, so we could assess your sustained acclaim. All right. So any additional education, that's a certification, that's where it belongs to.
Great, great. So, friends, thanks for joining us today. We've covered a lot of great stuff. This will be posted. If you missed part of the conversation earlier, you can rewatch the recording. Again, Shamayev Business Law are going to do some free evaluation profile reviews. To get that, send them a DM with the word talent, and you'll get a link where you can fill out a little profile and see kind of where you stand in qualifying for a talent visa. But Stanislav, what words would you want to leave our friends with today?
Have no fear. Stanislav is here, guys. That's the best thing I can do because I think what produces fear and panic and this lack of confidence is actually a lack of the good information and good people who can guide you through this process. So if you guys made up your mind and you really want to be in this country and live with it and bring your family here and rear your kids, so that's the first step. The second is to know your case, which visa is good for you, and like Rob said, just DM your talent, and we'll take it from there.
Awesome. I love it. Friends, thanks for joining today. Stanislav, thank you for all of your insights. Friends, make sure you hit that like button to say thanks for all the just resources and updates we got. And best of luck on your trip. Hope you have so much fun up there in the Himalayas in Nepal. I'm very jealous of that trip. So have a
Thank you,
great
Rob.
time.
Appreciate the time. Appreciate your good words, and I wish you best in your journey as well.
All right. Take care, everyone. Cheers. Thanks for
Bye
joining
bye.
us today.